3 months had passed since Peter and Patricia were arrested. Samantha, now living with her biological parents, Laura and Jack, began to miss Peter. Despite everything, he had been a father to her for many years. One evening, Samantha sat down with Laura. She looked at her and took a deep breath. "Mother, please, I want Peter and Patricia to be free from prison." Laura was surprised by her daughter's request. "Are you sure, Samantha? After everything they made us go through?" Samantha nodded. "Yes, Mother. I know what they did was wrong, but Peter raised me. I can't forget that. I miss him, and I believe they should have a second chance." Laura sighed, thinking about Samantha's words. "It's not going to be easy, but if that is what you want, we will support you. We will talk to the lawyer and see what we can do. But remember, it's important that justice is served too." In the following weeks, Laura and Jack worked with their lawyer to explore options for Peter and Patricia's release. A week later, Peter and Patricia were released from prison. Despite her parents' warnings, Samantha decided to visit Peter. She missed him deeply and needed to see him. When she arrived at Peter's house, Patricia was not there. Samantha and Peter sat down, facing each other. Peter told her he missed her and still loved her. Samantha looked at him and admitted, "I have started falling in love with you too. That's why I begged for your release." Peter was silent for a moment, absorbing her words. They kissed and hugged before Samantha left. When she got home, Laura and Jack were waiting for her. Samantha didn't mention her visit to Peter or what had happened. She knew they wouldn't understand. She quietly went to her room, thinking about Peter and the secret they now shared. Samantha and Peter continued to see each other whenever Patricia was not around. Laura began to notice that Samantha was no longer serious about her studies. She was always absent from school and spent a lot of time on the phone with a man Laura and Jack did not know. One afternoon, Laura confronted Samantha about why she was missing school and who she was talking to all the time. Samantha told her she was an adult and could take care of herself. She said she wasn't interested in school anymore because she planned to get married soon. Laura was shocked. When Jack came home, Laura told him what Samantha had said. Jack confronted Samantha, and she told him the same thing. Jack was so surprised. He could not understand why Samantha had changed so much. He worried about her future and the choices she was making, but Samantha was firm in her decision and didn't want to listen to his concerns. This created a lot of tension in the house, and Laura and Jack didn't know what to do to help their daughter. Samantha continued to see Peter in secret. She would meet him whenever Patricia was not around. Laura noticed that she was spending less and less time at home. Laura and Jack tried to talk to Samantha again, but Samantha insisted that she was an adult and could make her own decisions. One evening, Laura decided to follow Samantha to see where she was going. She saw Samantha meeting Peter at a local restaurant. Laura was shocked and didn't know what to do. She went back home and told Jack what she had seen. They decided they needed to do something to stop Samantha from seeing Peter. Laura and Jack talked about different ways to help Samantha. They thought about getting her a counselor or even moving to a new city. They knew they had to act quickly before things got worse. They hoped that Samantha would realize that this was not good for her and that she needed to focus on her studies and her future. As days passed, the tension in the house grew. Samantha felt misunderstood and alone. Laura felt helpless and scared for her daughter. 3 months had passed since Samantha and Peter started dating. One day, Patricia came home early and caught Peter and Samantha together on their matrimonial bed. She was shocked. Peter followed her, trying to explain and apologize, telling her that it wasn't what she thought. Patricia could not believe what she was seeing. Her husband and Samantha, the girl she had raised, were betraying her. She felt a mix of anger and hurt, and didn't know how to respond. Peter continued to plead, but Patricia was too angry to listen. She needed time to process what had just happened. Samantha quickly got dressed and left the house, feeling a mix of shame and guilt. She knew that what she was doing was wrong, but she felt drawn to Peter in a way she couldn't explain. She didn't know what to do next, but she knew things would never be the same. Patricia sat in the living room trying to calm down and think. Peter kept apologizing, but Patricia could not look at him. She felt betrayed by both her husband and Samantha. She wondered how long this had been going on and why she hadn't seen the signs. Meanwhile, Samantha went back to Laura and Jack's house. She didn't tell them what had happened, but they could see that something was wrong. Laura tried to talk to her, but Samantha was too upset to explain. She locked herself in her room, trying to figure out what to do next. Patricia then called Laura, telling her to warn her daughter to stay away from her husband. Laura was shocked and apologized to Patricia, promising that she would talk to Samantha. When Laura told Samantha what Patricia had said, Samantha denied it all. She insisted that Peter was her father, even though they weren't biologically related, but they have a special connection. She said they were just best friends, and nothing more. Laura didn't really believe Samantha, but she felt stuck. She didn't want to upset Samantha more, but she also couldn't ignore Patricia's warning. In the days that followed, Laura kept a close eye on Samantha. She noticed that Samantha was still spending a lot of time with Peter, often sneaking out to see him when Patricia wasn't around. Laura was worried but didn't know how to handle the situation without pushing Samantha away. Jack, on the other hand, was more direct. He confronted Samantha and told her that she needed to focus on her studies and stay away from Peter. Samantha argued back, saying she was an adult and could make her own decisions. Jack was frustrated but didn't want to cause a bigger rift in the family. Meanwhile, Patricia was struggling to come to terms with what had happened. She felt betrayed by both Peter and Samantha and didn't know if she could ever trust them again. She decided to stay away from the house for a while, giving herself time to think and decide what to do next. A month later, Patricia then found out that Peter was still seeing Samantha. She confronted him again. This time, Peter told his wife that she could do whatever she liked. He admitted he was deeply in love with Samantha, a girl much younger than her, and he was planning to take her as his second wife. Patricia was furious and told him she was going to divorce him. Peter told her to go ahead, saying he didn't care. Patricia packed her belongings and left. 2 days later, she served Peter with divorce papers. Instead of feeling sad, Peter called Samantha, telling her that he now belonged fully to her and that they would get married soon. Samantha was so happy that she told her friend about it. Her friend was shocked and said she couldn't support Samantha's decision. "I'm ashamed on Samantha's behalf. How can you be happy about, marrying a man who recklessly hit you with his car, then kidnapped you? Now you want to marry him? You must be out of your mind." Samantha responded that she didn't care and told her friend to mind her own business and stop being jealous. Peter and Samantha continued their relationship, making plans for their future together. Laura and Jack, however, were deeply worried. They couldn't understand why Samantha was so determined to be with Peter, a man who had caused so much trouble in her life. Laura tried talking to Samantha again. She reminded her of everything that had happened and asked her to reconsider. Samantha was firm in her decision, saying that Peter made her happy and that was all that mattered. Jack also tried to talk sense into Samantha. He asked her to think about her future and the kind of life she wanted to have. He told her that marrying Peter would only bring more problems, but Samantha refused to listen. Meanwhile, Patricia was moving on with her life. She found a new place to live and started focusing on her own happiness. She wanted nothing more to do with Peter and was relieved to be free from the toxic relationship. Peter, on the other hand, was fully committed to his new life with Samantha. He began making arrangements for their wedding and promised Samantha that they would have a wonderful life together. A year had passed since Samantha and Peter got married. Over time, things began to change. Peter started misbehaving and often made hurtful comments. He would sometimes call Samantha barren and ask why she hadn't become pregnant yet. Samantha tried to remind Peter that his ex-wife, Patricia, had also struggled with infertility. Patricia had never been able to have children until after they kidnapped her and she brought luck to them. That was when Patricia finally became pregnant. Samantha pointed out that the problem might not be with her, but with him. One evening, after yet another harsh comment from Peter, Samantha lost her patience. "You know your ex-wife couldn't have children for years. Maybe you should go check yourself, if your manhood is still working. You are beginning to get old in your head, Peter," she said. Peter was surprised by Samantha's words. He hadn't expected her to react so strongly. Samantha's frustration was clear, and she felt that Peter's accusations were unfair and misplaced. She was tired of being blamed for something that was out of her control. Peter didn't say much in response. Instead, he was left to think about what Samantha had said. The truth was that he hadn't been completely honest with her about his own health. He realized that he had never truly addressed the issue, and that perhaps he should look into it. Samantha, on the other hand, felt a mix of relief and worry. While she was glad to have stood up for herself, she was also concerned about their future. Peter went to the hospital to get checked out. The doctor told him that he couldn't father a child anymore due to some health issues. This news made Peter very sad. When he got home, he started thinking about his situation. He knew that his wife was young and attractive, and he worried that she would eventually find someone else. The thought of losing Samantha to another man scared him. Instead of telling Samantha the truth, Peter decided to keep it to himself. He didn't want her to know that he was the reason they couldn't have children. Instead, he began to shower her with gifts and attention. He took her on trips in private jets and gave her lots of money. Samantha was enjoying this lifestyle, feeling like a spoiled baby girl. However, their noisy neighbors started gossiping. They began to say that Peter had used Samantha's womb for money rituals. These rumors spread quickly, and soon Samantha began to hear the whispers. People were saying that Peter's sudden generosity and their luxurious lifestyle were the result of dark magic. Samantha was confused and hurt by these. She didn't want to believe them, but the gossip was hard to ignore. She tried to talk to Peter about what people were saying, but he always brushed it off, telling her not to worry. As the rumors continued to spread, Samantha started to feel isolated. She didn't know who to trust, and she was unsure of what to do. She loved Peter, but the doubts planted by the neighbors' gossips began to take root in her mind. Peter, on the other hand, felt trapped by his secret. He wanted to protect Samantha and keep her happy, but he also knew that the truth would come out eventually. He hoped that by keeping her happy and distracted, she would not notice the absence of a child in their lives. Days turned into weeks, and the tension between them grew. Samantha's friends and family started to ask questions, and she found it harder to come up with answers. She started to wonder if there was some truth to the rumors. Despite the luxurious lifestyle, Samantha began to feel a growing emptiness. She realized that material things couldn't replace the truth and honesty that she craved in her marriage. Soon, Samantha started seeing younger men. She now believed what her parents and friends had told her. Peter was too old for her. Peter was also getting weaker in bed, and Samantha felt she needed someone younger who could satisfy her needs. Although Peter didn't know his wife was cheating on him with another man, Samantha met a young man named Alex. He was charming, handsome, and full of energy. He made Samantha feel alive and excited again. They began meeting in secret, enjoying each other's company and the thrill of their hidden romance. Peter was busy with his work and trying to keep Samantha happy with gifts and trips. He had no idea that she was seeing someone else. He trusted her completely and never suspected that she might be unfaithful. Samantha tried to hide her affair, but it wasn't easy. She made up excuses to go out and spent less time at home. She told Peter she was meeting friends or running errands, but in reality, she was with Alex. As time went on, Samantha felt more distant from Peter. She started to resent him for his age and his inability to get her pregnant. She felt trapped in a marriage that didn't make her happy anymore. Peter, still unaware of Samantha's affair, continued to try and make her happy. He noticed she was distant and asked if something was wrong, but Samantha always brushed it off. She told him she was just tired or stressed. One day, Peter planned a surprise trip for them, hoping to rekindle their romance. He booked a weekend getaway to a beautiful resort, thinking it would bring them closer. Samantha agreed to go, but her heart wasn't in it. She was thinking about Alex and how much she missed him. During the trip, Samantha's thoughts were elsewhere. Peter tried his best to make her smile, but he could sense something was wrong. He started to worry that he was losing her, but he didn't know what to do. When they returned home, Samantha felt even more confused. She knew she couldn't keep living this double life, but she didn't want to hurt Peter. She was stuck in a difficult situation and didn't know how to get out of it. Samantha soon found out she was pregnant. She felt both happy and confused. She knew the child belonged to Alex, but she decided to tell Peter it was his baby. Peter was wealthy, and Alex was just a struggling guy. When Samantha told Peter she was pregnant, instead of him being happy, he was quite. Samantha then said he should be happy. They were finally having a baby. Peter forced a smile, but felt anxious. He went into his room and started thinking. The doctor had said he couldn't father a child. How come Samantha is pregnant? Questions flooded his mind. How, when, where? He decided he must find out if she was seeing someone else. Peter began watching Samantha more closely. He noticed she was often on her phone and sometimes left the house without explaining where she was going. He started to feel suspicious and worried. He needed proof before confronting her. So he hired a private investigator to follow Samantha and find out the truth. Meanwhile, Samantha tried to act normal. She was nervous, but she believed she could keep the secret. She continued seeing Alex, but was more careful now. The private investigator soon gathered enough evidence. He took photos of Samantha meeting Alex and spending time with him. When Peter saw the pictures, he felt a mix of anger and sadness. His suspicions were confirmed. He didn't confront Samantha right away. Instead, he planned how to handle the situation. Peter invited Samantha to dinner one night, wanting to see if she would admit to anything. During dinner, he casually mentioned the baby and asked how she was feeling. Samantha, thinking everything was fine, talked about the baby and how excited she was. Peter then showed her the photos. Samantha was shocked and didn't know what to say. Peter asked her directly if she had been seeing someone else. Samantha, realizing she was caught, broke down and admitted everything. She told Peter about Alex and that the baby was not his. Peter was heartbroken and angry. He felt betrayed and didn't know what to do next. He told Samantha he needed time to think and left the house. Samantha was left alone, feeling scared and unsure about the future. Peter spent the night in a hotel, thinking about everything that had happened. He knew he loved Samantha, but the betrayal was too much to bear. He decided he couldn't stay with her after what she had done. The next morning, he returned home and told Samantha he wanted a divorce. Samantha was devastated but understood Peter's decision. She knew she had made a mistake and now had to face the consequences. After Peter told Samantha he wanted a divorce and she agreed, he began thinking deeply about what the doctor had told him. He couldn't father a child. He realized that even if he married another woman, he would face the same issue. No matter what, he couldn't have children of his own. Feeling torn and confused, Peter decided to talk to Samantha again. He went to her and apologized for his harsh words. He explained that he was angry and hurt, but he had calmed down and thought things through. Samantha, relieved and happy, hugged Peter, grateful that he accepted her and the baby. She believed Peter would take the child as his own. What Samantha didn't know was that Peter was hiding a dark secret. He wasn't just upset about the affair. Peter had been hiding the fact that he couldn't have children for a long time. He had kept this secret even from Samantha. He felt ashamed and didn't want anyone to know the truth. Peter's plan was to keep up the appearance of a happy family, even though he knew the baby wasn't his. He thought this way he could avoid the shame and questions from others. He hoped that by pretending everything was fine, he could still have a family and no one would find out about his infertility. Meanwhile, Samantha was happy that Peter had come around. She felt a weight lifted off her shoulders, believing that they could move forward and raise the baby together. She decided to cut ties with Alex completely, focusing on her relationship with Peter and the baby. As months passed, they prepared for the baby's arrival. Peter played the role of the excited father, attending doctor's appointments and helping Samantha with baby preparations. To everyone around them, they seemed like a happy couple eagerly awaiting their child. But Peter's secret weighed heavily on him. He often found himself lost in thought, worrying about what would happen if the truth came out. He feared losing everything he had worked so hard to build. Samantha, noticing Peter's occasional distant behavior, thought it was just stress from becoming a parent. She didn't suspect that Peter was hiding anything. She focused on staying healthy. One day, while going through some old papers, Samantha found a letter from Peter's doctor. It mentioned his infertility. Shocked and confused, she confronted Peter about it. Peter, realizing he could not hide the truth any longer, confessed everything. He admitted he had known for a long time that he couldn't father a child. Samantha felt a mix of emotions. She was hurt that Peter had kept such a big secret from her, but she also felt compassion for his struggle. She understood why he had been so desperate to keep their family together. They sat down and had a long talk. Peter apologized for hiding the truth, explaining his fears and shame. Samantha, while still hurt, forgave him. She realized they both had made mistakes, but wanted to move forward for the sake of their child. Meanwhile, Samantha never told Alex she was pregnant. Alex noticed she wouldn't come over when he called, and she wouldn't pick up his calls. He thought maybe her husband had started to notice, and she decided to lay low for some time. One day, Alex's cousin, who had met Samantha once, saw her with a big stomach at a popular street market. Samantha didn't see her. Alex's cousin then called him and asked why he never told them that he and his girlfriend were expecting. Alex was shocked and told her that Samantha never mentioned she was pregnant. Now, he knew why she had been avoiding him. Alex tried to call Samantha again, but she had already changed her phone number. He was angry, and something told him that the child belonged to him. Determined to find out the truth, Alex decided to take matters into his own hands. Alex began showing up at places where he knew Samantha might be. He went to the market, her favorite cafes, and even around her neighborhood, hoping to catch a glimpse of her. His anger and determination grew each day as he was constantly reminded that she had kept such a significant secret from him. One afternoon, he finally saw her leaving a prenatal class. Alex followed her from a distance, waiting for the right moment to confront her. When Samantha finally reached her car and was alone, Alex approached her. "Samantha, we need to talk," he said, his voice firm but controlled. Samantha turned around, startled to see him. She looked around nervously, but there was no one else. "What are you doing here, Alex?" she asked, trying to keep her composure. "I know you're pregnant, and I have a strong feeling that the baby is mine," Alex said bluntly. "Why didn't you tell me?" Samantha took a deep breath, trying to gather her thoughts. She knew this moment might come, but she hadn't prepared for it. "I didn't tell you because I decided to stay with Peter," she finally said. "I thought it would be best for the baby to have a stable home and a secure future." Alex looked at her, a mix of anger and sadness in his eyes. "You should have told me. I have the right to know." Samantha agreed, realizing that he was right. "I'm sorry, Alex. I was scared and confused. I didn't want to complicate things even more." Alex's expression softened a bit, but he was still determined. "I want to be part of this child's life. I don't know how, but I need to be involved." Samantha looked at him, unsure of what to say. She had made her choice, but now she realized that Alex had a right to be part of their child's life, too. "Let's talk about this more," Samantha suggested. "We need to figure out a way that works for everyone, especially for the baby." Alex agreed, and they exchanged contact information, promising to stay in touch and work out a plan. Samantha felt a mix of relief and anxiety as she drove home. When Samantha got home, she didn't tell Peter about her encounter with Alex. She needed time to think and figure out how to handle the situation. She knew she couldn't keep it a secret forever, but she wanted to find the right moment to discuss it with Peter. Alex called Samantha and demanded she divorce her husband and marry him. When she refused, he insisted she must settle him with a large amount of money. Reluctantly, Samantha agreed and paid him off, hoping he would leave her alone. However, whenever Alex was broke, He would ask her for more money, threatening to expose her husband's infertility if she refused. This continued even after Samantha gave birth. Feeling desperate, Samantha confided in her friend, who advised her to tell Peter. When Samantha finally told Peter, he was furious that she hadn't told him earlier. Peter immediately called the police, and Alex was arrested for blackmail. With Alex out of their lives, Samantha and Peter hoped to move forward and focus on their family without the constant fear and manipulation.